Gupta, he was narrating that Chaitanya Charitamrita to Devananda Pandit. When he was narrating it to Devananda Pandit, at that time, Lochan Das Thakur was able to get that dialogue between Devananda Pandit and Murari Gupta. That became the basis of his Chaitanya Mangala. Has anybody read Chaitanya Mangala? Very, very sweet. Many pastimes there of Mahabharata. I'll tell a couple of pastimes from there of Mahaprabhu, at least one. Very, very sweet pastimes narrated there. So, originally Vrindavan Das Thakur had also written one grantha called Chaitanya Mangala. But when the Lochan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Mangala was there also, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Lochan Mangal decided to name the writing of Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat, because it's considered that Vrindavan Das Thakur is himself directly Vyasadeva. So because he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam, and this narration of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's Leela is the sequel to Krishna's Leela, that same Vyasadeva came in Gaur Leela as Vrindavan Das Thakur. So it's mentioned in the last verse of the Bhagavatam. Nama Sankirtaniya Sasava Papa Pranasanam Pranamo Dukha Samanastam Namamim Hamim Puram. That after compiling everything related to Srimad Bhagavatam, then Vyasadeva wrote, listen, after all I've discussed, including Ras, Leela, so many different things, I have not clearly mentioned, though in the 11th canto narrations about Bhakti are there. Also Kapila Dev talked to Devahuti about Bhakti. Still, unless and until one gets the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, it's not possible to enter Radha Krishna's Leela. So he wrote, you should know, even though I've compiled all this information, there is coming one incarnation whose name will create Sava Papa Pranasanam. Pranasanam means Prakashrupa, Nasana means to completely destroy any sins, anatas, everything. So simply by taking that name, one will be able to completely nullify all the obstacles in order to get the service of Radha Krishna. So he was predicting, I asked Srila Gurudev this question on the morning walk here in Alatra actually. Was this verse the prediction of the coming of Mahaprabhu? Gurudev said yes. Among many, this one also very prominent. So this verse was predicting the coming of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, Vyasadeva thought, oh, certainly I will not miss this as well. Bhagavat. So Chaitanya Mangala was also very much appreciated by all the Vaishnavas. In later times, some Vaishnavas' questions, it's not all written, I'm now talking from my memory, but I remember that some Vaishnavas had question about some of the things written in Chaitanya Mangala, because it seems to have indicated Gauranga Nagarivad. Does anybody know or not know what Gauranga Nagarivad is?
It's a Sahaja group, right?
Yes, it's like Sahaja in that they feel you can have a conjugal relationship with Mahaprabhu, right? The relationship with Mahaprabhu is called Vishesha Dasyaras. Vishesha Dasyaras means it's a special kind of Dasyaras towards Mahaprabhu. The difference in Dasyaras and this Dasya Bhav towards Mahaprabhu is that in this Dasya Bhav, the Vaishishya of the ability to taste Braj Ras is inherited there. You understand what I'm saying? Or not? Vaishishya means speciality. There's a speciality in the Dasya mood towards Mahaprabhu that reveals the intensity of Braj mood. Therefore, Mahaprabhu brought all the associates from previous incarnations into Gaur Leela to award them. The verse, what is that verse? Ragamag Bhakti Loke Karite Prachan. So in this verse he says that Mahaprabhu came to preach Rag Bhakti. But then Gurudev is told that you can't actually preach Rag Marg. Rag Marg is an experience. Right? You can talk Tattva Siddhanta. But Tattva Siddhanta about Rag is not Rag Marg. You understand? So what does Rag Marg Prachar here mean? That for all of those associates who were already pure devotees, Mahaprabhu gifted them with the intensity of Rag Marg, meaning Braj mood, by them coming into Gaur Leela. You understand? Understand? So this was the meaning. He didn't preach to the general populace Rag Marg. Right? What he did was he inspired Rag Marg in the heart of his eternal associates, like Hanuman. Who was Hanuman in Gaur Leela?
Very good. Yeah.
The four Kumaras. Who were they in Gaur Leela? The Nath brothers, Srinath, Kasinath, Lokanath, Ramnath. Right? To the Pandavas who were doing austerities at Shamkund. How did they come? As the sons of Bhavan. Of Braj Prem. It's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. One verse is there. Prem Naiva Goparamanam Kamam Iti Agamat Pratam Uddhava Adayo Apietan Vajanti Bhagavat Priya. So all the devotees headed by Uddhava, because Uddhava at Uddhav Kund was also doing consistently deep bhajan in order to have the desire to have Braj mood. This does not mean that their swarups change. They don't have a different swarup. They don't come into Gaur Leela and then they get a swarup in Braj. In Gaur Leela, they taste the intensity. In Jiva Goswami is given one commentary to this verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He says they get to taste the intensity of that mood of Braj Prem. Understand? By coming into Gaur Leela. And to prove that all of these associates that come into Gaur Leela, that Mahaprabhu was truly the Ishtadev of each of them, one verse is written in Chaitanya Bhagavat. What is that verse? Prabhu Ishta Apanar Shei Gauranga Shei Avatar. Ye Jana Prabhu Ishta Apanar Shei Gauranga Shei Avatar. That all the different devotees during the Mahaprakash in the house of Srivas, they all saw the form of Mahaprabhu as their different Ishtadevs. Somebody saw as Ramachandra, somebody proved. Ye Jana Prabhu Apanar Shei Gauranga Shei Avatar. That Mahaprabhu himself was the Ishtadev of all these devotees. But now they were tasting the intensity of Braj Prem. The highest mood in Braj is manifest in Rasa Leela. It's written in Ramananda Samvad, Samyak Saravasana, Krishnera Rasa Leela. The highest manifestation in Krishna's Leela is Ras Leela. So, did the associates of Gauranga Mahaprabhu ever get to go to Ras Leela? There was no flute playing and so forth, so on. So, where did they go to Ras Leela?
Harinam Sankirtan? Or is that?
In Srivas Angam. Right? And the was the flute that called all devotees to come to the house of Srivas. That's why, like Ras Leela, was Madhurya. Madhurya here meaning exclusive. The kirtan in the house of Srivas was also exclusive in the beginning. Not everyone could go. Not until the bhav of that kirtan rose to a certain level and became Yavat Asraya Vritti. Yavat Asraya Vritti? No, yes. Prem goes up to Anurag. Anurag has one excellence. The excellence of Anurag is that it can become its own experience. In other words, Prem can become its own experience. It's no longer dependent just on the lover and beloved. Prem takes over and becomes its own experience. This is called Swa Sambeja Dasha. Gurudev has written very nice explanation in Shishashtaka book. In the 7th verse, he gives a very nice explanation. Written in Jayavadharma as well. Swasambeja Dasha means prem is its own experience. When prem becomes its own experience, the people involved in that prem no longer are in control. So it manifests. The prem rises and rises, it becomes its own experience, and all the associates of Mahaprabhu succumb to the ras inherent in that kirtan. That prem ras in the kirtan. One other excellence of Anurag is that after it comes to the stage of Swasambeja Dasha, in other words, it becomes its own nourishing experience, it becomes Yavat Asraya Vritti. It means it spills out over its container and enters the hearts of various people according to their qualification. So in the kirtan in Srivas Angan, when that prem reaches a certain level, it spills out over the boundaries of Srivas Angan and it becomes known as Naga Sankirtan. This is the real meaning of Naga Sankirtan. Naga Sankirtan is the spilling out but the exclusive conception of Prem Ras Kirtan meant for pure devotees. When it raises to a certain level, it spills out, just like somebody wants to drink something. I'm giving an example. And you have so many little children around. They may not be qualified to get their own water, have a direct, hold the cup up. But what may happen is sometimes you'll see that when somebody's drinking water in a cup, and the cup runs over, it spills out, they may put their hand out like this. How much water they can hold in their hands, that much they can drink. It's called Yavarashvavriti. So according to your container, when that water spills over, people are catching different ways, right? So in the case,
common people?
not even common people, because Mahaprabhu could look at somebody, they would get prayed. But were they getting prayed like the associates? No, not like all pure devotees. And anybody who saw that kirtan, they'd also become afflicted with praying, not the same intensity, but they would become Kundis for this reason. Inherent in the mercy and the kripa of Radha Kund is Plavana means Radha Kund is constantly overspilling its banks. So it's not talking about that every time you go to Radha Kund you have to wait because the banks are flooded and there's water everywhere. It means that the Prem Ras, which is exclusive devotees of that caliber. But Radha Kund is so merciful that residing there naturally, what comes out of the heart of Radha Kund, that prem, into the hearts of pure devotees, will overflow and also touch you. Understand? This is Rupa Goswami's glorification of Radha Kund in Upadeshamrita, nectar instruction, like this. So in Chaitanya Mangala, there was some, my original point, was that some wrote there may be some hint of this. But for those who are pure line of Gaudiya, in Gaudiya Vichar, they can see that this is not there, because they know the truth. So only some can analyze this, but the truth is, Lochan Das Thakur, high quality of devotee, disciple of Narahari Thakur, not possible to be writing this Gauranga Nagari Vard. Prema Vivat of Jagadananda Pandit, right? So it's written in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jagadananda Pandit has a bhav like Satyabhama. Does anybody remember hearing that? But is Jagadananda Pandit Satyabhama in Gaur Lila? No, who is he? He's one Manjari. Therefore he wrote, if you read in the passages of Prem Vivat, he wrote, oh, don't try to cast me away to Dwarka. This is just another trick of yours. He's talking to Krishna. This is just another trick of yours to try to get me away from you. Because Jagadananda Pandit's mood with Mahaprabhu was very strong. Right? This is another trick to try to get me away, casting me away to Dwarka, saying I'm like Satyabhama. Right? So he had a mood like Satyabhama in that he was very tough, but his actual identity is Manjari. He, in Prem Vivati, identifies that.
Well, how is she? Is she like really strong?
Satyabhama is a Prakash in Dwarka of Radhika. So she has left mood. In Dwarka, because Mayada rules, then the mood of Chandravali dominates. So who's prominent in Dwarka? Rukmini. But Satyabhama, her mood is very strong, tough like leftist mood. So you can understand all these things by reading Vidagdha Madhava and especially Lalit Madhava, because it gives the whole narration, Rupa Goswami has given a whole narration, how the queens of Dwarka are the actual gopis of Braj. But for the sake of Ras, an eternal barrier is kept there. That's why Mahaprabhu appeared to Rupa Goswami and told him when he was writing those dramas, don't mix the two things. Then later on, Satyabhama herself directly appeared to him, and Satyabhamapur said, do not mix Dwarka and Braj, or Mathura and Braj. Don't mix these things. So though it's written, he revealed who is who, right? He still said, don't mix them as Ras. So Chaitanya Mangala, I was describing also, very beautiful, many beautiful pastimes. There it describes how the incarnation of Mahaprabhu was going to come. And there's a whole pastime of Narada Muni's desire for this to happen. I'm just paraphrasing everything now from memory. I was reading things all the time. So Narada Muni, of course, he goes to Dwarka to tell Krishna that, hey, you should do this avatar. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is very beautiful. So he goes there, and in the course of that, Rukmini comes to know that her Dwarkadish, Krishna, he wants to go and do the avatar of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So she wants to know also what is this avatar, especially because it is imbued with the moods of Radhika, whom Krishna speaks about at night while he's sleeping. Narada Muni is so excited, and he gets some prasad. At that time, he's going everywhere to tell everybody about this coming of Gauranga avatar. So in Vaikuntha, he also, especially because it's very difficult, he gets the prasad of the Lord from Lakshmi Devi. So he goes, in the first place he goes is the Kailas to tell Lord Shiva, hey, Gauranga avatar is coming and so forth. Hey, by the way, what do you have there? Oh, I've only got a little bit left, because he only had a little bit left on his hand from taking prasad. Mahaprasad. Mahaprasad. So they took that Mahaprasad, and Lord Shiva took his finger. So Lakshmi Devi came up, what's going on here? Why are you dancing so ecstatically, this and that? So then everybody, you know how there's that thing when kids get caught doing something wrong, and everybody freezes? Right? You come in, you see the sign, everybody's doing it, but everybody stops. Or somebody's talking about somebody, and they walk in the room and open, and everybody stops talking. So it's like that. So I'm saying, what's going on here? So then, because, you know, any husband cannot conceal from the wife, so Lord Shiva had to speak up. Oh, excuse me, Parvati, I'm sorry, not Lakshmi, Parvati. She had to speak up. So Lord Shiva told, Narji came, and he had just a very little Mahaprasad. In my deep excitement, I grabbed his finger, because he only had a little bit left, and all the prasad was there I took. So he said, nobody bought any for me? Nothing? So Parvati means whatever she said, that has to come true. So she made the vow, oh, since you've tried to hide and make the distribution of prasad very exclusive, I'm making a vow that it can never be exclusive. It will have to be passed on to everyone. Therefore, the Gauranga avatar will have to come even quicker, because that prasad which he's coming to give, that is greater even than the prasad you brought back from Vaikuntha. So this way Parvati told, oh, so I'm making a statement that Mahaprabhu will have to distribute this to everyone. Right? So by her mercy, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, even though he was coming really for the association of all the devotees from previous incarnations, he was forced by his own Shakti to reveal in magnificence, or his magnanimity, to everyone. This is part of this that Lord Chandas Thakur was mentioning in Chaitanya. So much dominated by Nityananda Katha. Right? He was absorbed in Nityananda Katha. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who later wrote, after them, he wrote based on the Kadach of Swarup Damodar that was narrated to him at Radhakund by Raghunath Das Goswami. So, the reason that we give prominence to Chaitanya Charitamrita is because there, he not only wrote the Leela of Mahaprabhu, but he wrote all Tattva Siddhanta in relation to it. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, not only the Leela of Mahaprabhu, the Ras inherent in both Braj and in Gaur Leela, but all Siddhanta related to it is present there. And this is because he got the direct mercy of Raghunath Das Goswami and the other Goswamis there in Braj. Lochan Das Thakur, in writing Chaitanya Mangal, he wrote very much about the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, right? Especially things that were not written by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Just like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also said, I'm taking the remnants of Vrindavan Das Thakur and I'm not repeating things that he's already written. So Lochan Das Thakur also told so many very sweet pastimes, like, and especially in the beginning, in the first section, So it's explained that each ras has inherent qualities that make that ras very tasteful. So the inherent qualities in Vatsalya Prem that make it tasteful are four things. Does anybody remember what those four things are? If you have a small child, you need to take care of it, right? So Posana means to nourish or to care for. Palana means what? To protect, right? Tanda Bhartsana. This is a unique feature of Vatsalya Prem. Tanda Bhartsana means to right, the natural right to give chastisement. Like Mother Yashoda binding Krishna, right? Sachima, I'll tell in the story coming up, she also chastised. And Sanka Amangala. Sanka Amangala means that there's always fear that something is wrong. If you don't see your child for 2 minutes, where did they go? Where did they go? It's called Sanka Amangala, right? So, Mahaprabhu, when he was very, very small, he was the darling of Sachima and Jagannath Mishra. As Mahaprabhu became older, his desire and also his own nature, his own swabhav, produced a mood in Jagannath Mishra and especially in Sachima of nourishing those four things. Palana, Posana, Tandabhatsana, and Sankamana. Krishna Lila, he also had someone who could check him. Who used to check Krishna in Krishna Lila? Mother Yashoda, to some degree, but also Balaram. And Balaram will say, no, Krishna, except in some occasions, Gurudev gave occasion. But mostly Balaram could control. Similarly, among Sachi and Jagannath Mishra, who could really control Mahaprabhu?
Where's Uddhava done? Where is Uddhava?
In Gaur Lila?
Yeah.
He's
no,
Paramananda.
Krishna Lila.
Where is he? During Krishna Lila? He stays in Mathura and then in Dwarka.
He looks like Krishna, but he doesn't have...
And he gets to go to Braj. Why? It says Uddhava Api, Uddhava Adaya. Adaya means headed by, or Adi, same as Adi. So, of the person heading all the devotees is Uddhava. Why? And even in Brihad Bhagavatam, Nita Sanatana Goswami Pad has also spoken all devotees up to Uddhava. So why? Because Uddhava, he's described as Vishnunam Paravo Mantri. Mantri means like a has some deep relation with Krishna, and Krishna felt that he couldn't give all moods to Uddhava. Plus, Uddhava was the only one whom Krishna felt comfortable enough to send back to Braj in his stead to try to console the Brijabasis. Only Balaram went and Uddhava. Right? Nobody else he could. Somyam Pitaro Priti Abaha. Pitaro is plural for parents, so it's like saying our parents. So Krishna was showing to Uddhava how close they are by saying, I want you to go to Vrindavan. Gacha Uddhava Somyam. Somyam means very soft, gentle person. Oh, Uddhava, I want you to go to Braj. You're very gentle, Uddhava, go to Braj. So he's addressing, when you go to Braj, you have to be so soft because their hearts are in such a condition. And Pitaro Priti Avaha. I want you to show this kind of love and affection, this soft, beautiful love and affection to our parents. By saying our parents. But then he told them, Ma Gopi Viyogadim. But the gopis are there, my gopis. He did not say our gopis. My gopis, they're viyog. They're in viyog, means they're in deep mood of separation. But why viyog is used? V means visesh. So why is it a viyog? It could be ayog. Ayog means there's no connection, means there's in separation. Viyog here means in that separation they also have meeting. Because they have spurti of Krishna. So it is a viyog. But the difficulty is that the gopis do not accept the spurti of Krishna to be actual. They accept, oh, Krishna appeared, but then as soon as the spurti disappears, they think, oh, it was just a vision. Cowherd boys, on the other hand, if they see Krishna, they think it's actually Krishna. And when it disappears, they think, oh, here he is playing hide and seek again. Now we'll go find him. Gopis cannot accept this. This is why, when they went to Kurukshetra, The cowherd boys could remain in Braj to watch Braj. Because they believe in the sporty of Krishna. When they see the darshan of Krishna, they think, oh, he's here. He's just hiding someplace. The gopis think if that sporty comes, oh, Krishna's appeared, he's here. And they really become involved in it. And then when the sporty disappears, they think, oh, alas, it was just our own minds and hearts overwhelmed. We saw this thing. And now their separation doubles and triples. Understand? So this is a deep kind of separation mood they have. Right? So he says, Mad Gopi Viyogadim. To my gopis in their viyog, don't try to pacify them. Mat Sandeshara Vimochaya. Only give my sandesh. Sandesh means like an instruction or a message. So Mat Sandesh Vimochaya. Give them freedom from their suffering by telling them my message. So Uddhava is so close to Krishna. The praying of the gopis. Even though he himself could not fully digest it, he could capture it to repeat it to Krishna. But in not being able to fully imbibe it himself, what he did imbibe was a desire to serve it. That's why at the end of Brahmar Gita, those verses are there, like he recites. What's that verse? I'm praying that I can take birth in Braj. Kim Guma Alatta Solinam. Alatta means like a creeper. Asolinam means like any piece of herb or anything. Anything where these gopis who I've witnessed the height of their praying, that they'll have the ability to walk on me. So he realized what is the love of gopis, not in terms of having imbibed himself, but having a deep appreciation for how deep that love was. I want to be a servant of that love.
So Guruji, so he's more considered in the gopis, and then Mother Mangal is considered in the Gopas?
Mother Mangal?
Yeah.
He's Virusak, means he's like a jokester.
Right.
He's there for providing comic relief for Krishna. But he comes to the category of Priya Namasaka because even in the association of gopis, he can also be there.
But so he's like part of the, I think Krishna Lila, he's more.
Yes, and in Gaur Lila, who is that Mother Mangal?
I don't know.
Shrivas.
Oh.
Narada Muni has so many different forms. Each of the different forms of Narada Muni are eternal. I was discussing with Didi the other day. So one form he has in Braj is Manu Mangal. In one Leela in Braj, he got the form of Nadia Gopi. Right? You understand? So there's so many different forms.
So, yeah.
In Gaur Leela, he's Shrivas.
He's not called Vetra Shrida for some reason. I don't know why I was thinking that connection.
Not that I remember, but he's Shrivas, for sure. Definitely
It
Shrivas.
must be confusing something.
Mm-hmm. So, what was the last point? Where were we at?
Before you were asking us why, who else can chastise?
Yes, about the
Or
features of Vatsalya Ras. Only Vishwarup, the elder brother of Mahaprabhu, he could also control him. If he would give any stern warning, then Mahaprabhu would become afraid. But to Sachi Mata and Jagannath Mishra, he was extremely bad. So I'm telling one pastime from Chaitanya Mangal that when Mahaprabhu became a little older, he got together with all of his friends. And they would do so many different things. Among the things they would do would be consistently to get dirty and play with contaminated things. This would drive Mother Sachi insane. Because a high-class, respectable Brahmin family, and doing these things, oh, now go wash your hands. Oh, you touch that, go wash your hands. So it would drive Sachima crazy. So once Mahaprabhu went, or Nimai, not Mahaprabhu, I'm saying, Nimai, he went with a group of friends and they found a whole litter of puppies. And so now looking at the litter of puppies, they were all thinking we could each take one. But among all the puppies, there was one which was really, really beautiful, really, really nice. Okay, we can each have a puppy, but who's going to get that puppy? So they could not figure out a means. They went back and forth discussing, well, who should get what puppy? So no, you could take that one because this one looks closer to your complexion. Or you take that one because this one has a face, it even looks a little bit like your nose. They had so many discussions among each other how they would divvy up the puppies, right? But nobody could come to a conclusion, and everybody only wanted the one puppy. So then Nehemiah came and suggested, look, we can take the one puppy and share. We'll all share this one puppy. So then they said, but Nehemiah, there's another problem. You cannot keep the puppy at your house, because if you take the dog home, Mother Sachi will become extremely upset. Jagannath Mishra, if he comes, sees a dog in the house. No, it's impossible. So Nehemiah, you leave this to me. I'll take care of this, right? Because he didn't trust that if he gave the puppy to somebody else, they may try to keep it. So he was trying. We should keep the puppy at my house because every day everybody comes to my house only, right? Because this is Nadia Lila, right? And everybody goes in, like the Ikara boys go to see Krishna in the morning in Nandaka. Simply everybody gets up in the morning and they make a beeline to Sachimata's house to associate with Nima, right? So he said, everybody comes to my house every day anyway. Why not leave him here at my house? So they had the puppy there for some time before, and they had it hidden. So Mother Sachi did not know. So finally, Mother Sachi came one day, and the boys started to complain. Not to Mother Sachi, she didn't know, but they were complaining to him, hey, you said we were going to share the puppy. But now the puppy's only staying at your house. The puppy's hidden. We can only see the puppy when we come to your house. What happened to the program we had for sometime in my house, sometime in your house? So then Nehemiah told, look, are you unhappy? Are you seeing the puppy or not? One of the boys said, no. This is his nature. He always is able to out-talk everybody and out-logic everybody, so we get the short end of the stick. So no, I'm not agreeable to this. So when Nehemiah went to bed, took him and brought him here. Like they had nothing to do with it. They discovered it. And they said, we know why he bought this puppy. We have no idea, so forth, so on, right? So then Mother Sachi, right? He said, who's bought this puppy here? Nehemiah said, what puppy? Said, no, this puppy here. Like they said, oh, my friends, I saw that they liked this puppy, right? But they were afraid to take it to their houses, so they must have brought him here. So then, so this whole thing is going on in front of Mother Sachi. So she said, okay, no matter what, the puppy has to go. So then Nehemiah, he broke down, he began to cry very profusely. So she, so much moved by Nehemiah's tears, they said, okay, be pacified. So go now and wash your hands again, and then come back and get ready. Your father's coming and dinner's almost ready. So everybody go to your respective places, take dinner. Mother Sachi had the servants release the dog to go. So when Mahaprabhu came back, before he came in, he looked for the puppy, he couldn't find him. He became very distraught. And he's asking, oh my, what happened? He says, I don't know. When you left to go and wash your hands, suddenly all the boys had gone. Maybe the puppy felt lonely, so the puppy got up and he went off by himself. I did not make him go. He left by himself. So this way, Mahaprabhu was completely distressed for some time. But then when Jagannath Mishra sat down, they began to take prasad together. Nehemiah, he was out with his friends. And everybody in there, Nadia, they were all gossiping about a phenomenon they had saw. So they were saying, yes, I heard it. Yes, I saw the same thing. So then all the boys and Nehemiah began to listen closely. So one person was saying, but I don't believe it could have happened. No, certainly it could have happened. This is a very special place, Al Nadia. So what had happened was, all of the different residents, they had witnessed that dog was roaming up and down the bank of the Ganges saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and was chanting and so forth, so on. And they couldn't, they were discussing among themselves. So then all the boys, they became very happy. They were smiling, and Nehemiah had a big smile on his face. Because they were thinking, not about just his chanting Hare Krishna, but thinking, that was my puppy. And now the whole village. So this is the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So many sweet pastimes like this are told in Chaitanya Mangal regarding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lochan Das Thakur's work is very, very wonderful, very, very sweet. So to the trilogy of the writings of Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Bhagavat, well actually 4 books, Chaitanya Charita, Morari Gupta had, Chaitanya Charita had a manuscript of that also, very, very sweet. And from that manuscript, or from that conversation between Morari Gupta and Devananda Pandit, which became Chaitanya Charita, Lochan Das Thakur wrote Chaitanya Mangal. So very, very wonderful. Lochan Das Thakur, Avirbhav Maha Mahotsav, Ki Jai.
Lochan Das Thakur. By the way, his Guruji was
Narahari Thakur.
Was Madhumati Shakti? I read somewhere.
Yes. Narahari Thakur.
Right.
Yeah,
We was in Krishna Lila. We can look up right quick. Any questions in the meantime? I'll look up right quick. Or Google Samhita.
Like Google.
Why did Krishna not go? He kept sending Nityananda or Buddha. Why didn't he go? What?
Because when Krishna was in Braj, he noticed something very special about the association with gopis in particular. If Krishna would be there, even in his presence, they could experience separation. This is called Prem Vaichitya. It's a special kind of separation mood. Right? So Krishna was thinking, even when I'm present, the gopis experience such a deep mood of separation. Because every sense of the gopis is so much attached to Krishna that if any one sense experiences a stimulus of separation, the whole being goes into separation. I'll give you an example. At Prem Sarovar, Gurudev tells a very famous story that Radhika was sitting on the lap of Krishna. And to prove Madhu Mangal's Priyanamasaka, he was present there. Other than that, he could not be present there doing such a thing. So Madhu Mangal noticed that one bumblebee was coming and being very attracted to the face of Sri Radhika, that he was flying around and Radhika was disturbed. So Madhu Mangal he announced it, oh, I've chased that Madhusudan away and he will not return. So you can have your pastimes undisturbed. But when Radhika heard Madhusudan has gone, right? Because Madhusudan is also a name for Krishna, right? When she heard that, even though she's looking at Krishna, her ears got the udipan of separation. You understand? And she was sitting on Krishna's lap thinking Krishna's gone. And she began to weep inside. So, another time this happened was during the time that Krishna had left the rasa. Forest. And Radhika's man, which had originated from the time that Krishna was dancing with all the other gopis, he had broken that man and now they were wandering in the forest. So, man is broken in different levels. Like, at first it may be that Radhika will agree to look at Krishna or agree to be in his company. Next, she may agree that she could look at him in their company. Then she may crack a smile if he says a joke. Then she may agree. These are all different levels of the man's breaking, right? So in this case, her man had broken to the point where she was wandering in the forest with Krishna. She allowed Krishna to decorate her hair with flowers because when the gopis came, they saw that one branch had been pulled down and flowers were on the ground, meaning he must have picked flowers to decorate her hair. You understand? At one place, they only saw one set of footprints instead of two. And that one set of footprints was deeper in the dust, which indicates that Krishna must have picked Radhika up to carry her. You understand? Or lifted her up at some point. Or just embraced her and lifted her up. So like this, and this is when those gopis in the opposite party, they recite the verse. What is that? Arajo Bhagavan, no, not Arajo Bhagavan. What is that verse? Bhagavan Hari Ishvaraha. Anya Iradito Nunam Bhagavan Hari. Anya Iradito Nunam Bhagavan Hari Ishvaraha. Gopis, because Krishna has gone off with her alone. Understand? So they were seeing those sights, those gopis recited that. Then Radha and Krishna were alone at one point. So many factors conjoined together to make this happen. One thing is that Radhika thought, I'm enjoying with Krishna all by myself. Naturally, a mood of audorja comes in her heart. I wish my Saktis were here also to enjoy this pastime. So that's one factor that came. The second factor is, Krishna thought, if Radhika remains separated from all the other gopis, they'll never know what it is that gives me the highest taste. They will not be able to make their hearts one with Radhika. So there has to be some point when the gopis meet with Radhika so they could see how you should love me. So all these different factors came together, and one Leela manifested from that, in which Krishna told Radhika, hey, it's getting late, we need to move on in the various forests. And Radhika then says, I'm very tired, you should carry me. Right? And when she said that, immediately Lajja came. Lajja means shyness. So Lajja came over her. So when Lajja comes over you, one feature, one external symptom of Lajja is that you blush, but also you close your eyes. So Radhika, once she said that, I was like, I can't believe, it's like I can't believe I said that. She closed her eyes to wait for Krishna to, because she was reaching to embrace him. She was going to get on his back and go like this. So when she closed her eyes and reached, in the term of getting to his body, there's just air. And your eyes are closed, so you don't see anything. That became Udipani, disappeared. So as soon as she closed her eyes and reached and didn't feel anything, she thought, Krishna left me again. Right? And at that time, she became overwhelmed with praying by Chitya. Krishna hid in the bushes to look at this. This is like an amazing phenomenon. I'm right here. We were just talking. Only because you closed your eyes for a split second and didn't see me, you're experiencing great separation mood. So he was hiding in the bushes watching. Then all the other gopis came. So this is the other thing that becomes fulfilled. Now all the other gopis, including Radhika's Saktis and her Swapaks, means her group, they come. Along with the other group, they see Radhika's condition. Now also, the southern Asita gopis who were in Rasa Leela, they also see Radhika's condition. We were feeling so much pain because Krishna left us. But how much pain must she be feeling that Krishna left us to come to her and then left her? You understand? So to be treated special, then be rejected is deeper pain. So now their hearts melted and their hearts become taratmik with Radhika. So now the stage is set. They can recite Gopi Geet under the anugatya of Radhika. You understand? So now they start reciting the verses of Gopi Geet under the anugatya and taratmik with Radhika. So now Krishna is hiding in the bushes listening. You understand? And now they recite Gopi Geet up to the last verse. Yatesu jata charanam burunam staneshu Vitam sanai Vitam sanai Dhavimahi karkaseshu Tenatavimastasi, Yatatena Kim Swit, Gopadi Bir, Brahmati, Bhavam Ayusamnaha. So they recite this last verse, and in the last verse it says, we gave up everything to come to give you pleasure, essentially. But now a great fear has come over us. The fear is that our desire, you've now left, and you're strolling throughout the forest of Vrindavan, stepping on very sharp stones and thorns and everything. So now we're feeling we came to offer our own hearts, for you to place your feet on our hearts. But our hearts must be so hard that you've chosen rather to walk in the forest of Vrindavan at night and step on stones. Has anybody been to Charan Party in Braj?
Probably,
Yeah, you've been. That's the big field when you're going across, and they have the like little stalks of grass. It feels like razors. I mean, I guess devotees are used to walking barefooted on Parikrama, but I don't know, for some reason, every time I've gone there, stepping on like razors or something. Right. So the gopis were thinking Krishna's walking in front, he's stepping on all these things. Our hearts are so hard, he preferred that to putting his foot on our heart because we are so incapable of understanding his pain. And we were only interested in our own desire to have his association that our hearts became so hard. Understand? When Krishna heard that, then Tasamavya Bacha Chori Smala Manamukambo Jam Pitambara Daraswagri Sakshat Manmat Manmat. Then Krishna, his own heart, could not take it, so immediately he appeared before them again. Then a whole dialogue takes place, a whole another level of katha. This kind of separation is so deep in Radhika that Krishna was thinking, back to your question, Krishna was thinking, my staying in Braj actually causes the gopis more separation. If I will leave Braj, then they will come to the point of reconciliation with my absence. And then when they have a spurti of me, that spurti will be their all in all, and they'll actually embrace it.
So the spurti was who he sent?
No, spurti means a vision.
Oh,
right?
So
without the promise of coming back, without the pretense of coming back, because he promised 1 or 2 days, and now it's been years, right? So now when they have a certain spurti, it used to be, that spurti is called Vipra, this is all in Ujjwalini Lamani, where you could find all these things. Vipralamba spurti means that Krishna appears to them when they're deeply in a mood of separation. But then when that vision disappears, they feel double separation than they felt before. I'm giving an example in material life will make it easy to understand. If a loved one goes missing, right, then your anxiety is completely, every time you look at a picture, everything, the intensity of your pain is so much. Why? Because you're waiting any minute they're going to knock on the door, they're going to be found, or you understand? So that hope connected with the missing is really painful. If a person passes away, after some time you come to terms with it. So then when you look at a picture of anything, the pain of that, they may walk in any minute, that pain is not there. But rather now you can fully absorb yourself in the memory that you have of them without any disturbance. You understand that example? As long as the potential that they're coming back is there, the anxiety of when starts to interfere with enjoyment of the memory you have. Right? So you break down and cry again. Where are they? Why aren't they here? Right? Somebody passes away and if you reconcile, they're probably not coming, they're not coming back. Then whatever memories you have, you hang on to those, you cherish them, and it's not disturbed by the intensity of waiting that they're coming in. The second kind of spurti that the gopis have is called Vipralamba Prakrita Pradur Bhav. It means they've reconciled. Krishna's been gone so long now, we cannot say when he's coming back. So if they have a vision at that time, right, they take full shelter of it. You understand? They take full shelter of that vision. So Krishna, understanding this, said, better if I'm not here in Braj. Because in that mood, you understand that? Now, why didn't he go back himself personally? Because if he comes back, what have you just done? What I just told. Now you've intensified every time they're separated again, even by the blinking of an eye. It's like stabbing again.
But why did he send
Uddhava
dressed as him?
How? Because he wanted that the spurti, it is so difficult for you, right? But here, I'm sending Uddhava. He's a live person. Like, I'm giving you an example. If you have pictures of a beloved or something, or old video clips of a beloved, right? And you're sitting and you're watching them, you may have so many memories. But if one of their closest friends comes, somebody that you were always in association with them, and so forth, one of those people come, and they were like twin brothers, that brings so much more. So Uddhava was going, and then part of Uddhava Sandesh is to show what is the nature, not only of Uddhava and Krishna's relationship, but Krishna's relationship vicariously with gopis and his own separation. So when Uddhava was going, looking at me, they'll remember you, they'll feel pacified. You want me to do that? To the gopis, you told me just give them my message. What was the message? He describes before Brahma Gita. Hey, Krishna comes here every day. You're seeing him every day. Don't worry. He can never leave you. All that kind of stuff. Right? That's what Uddhava ends up telling him, right? But when he's going, Krishna thinks, oh, that's not enough. If you simply go and speak, that's not enough. Hey, wait. Let me put on my clothes. If you put on my clothes, you'll look more like me. Wait. Put on clothes that I've already worn because my bodily scent will be in those clothes. And therefore, they will also get the fragrance of my body. Wait. Don't use your chariot. Use mine. Right? And wait, when you go in, don't let the dust from the horses obfuscate their vision, because in great hope, they'll be looking to see me, and when the dust doesn't settle, they may all die because of the anxiety. So once you get towards Braj, slow the horses down so the dust can settle, so they can have a chance to, I think I see him. You understand? So he went over each of those details, which was showing his own concern and separation. And therefore he was trying to instill all of his heart and mood in Uddhava in that one trip. Till the point Uddhava says, hey, if you keep going like this, I'll never get there. If you keep every 5 minutes you give me a different instruction, right? Sun will set, I'll never get to Braj. Okay. And he finally lets him go. Understand? So Krishna could not go himself because it would have revamped all of that pain. Equivalent to, but a mundane example, you've heard that dear loved one had passed away, right? They went to battle or something, and until they passed away. Then all of a sudden, right? Somebody calls and say, we have found someone in a camp, and we think it could be that person. How would you feel now? All the anxiety comes back. Just imagine, they told you, yeah, we got a call from the State Department that we've seen this person. Blah, 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 blah. You dial the State Department and nobody answers the phone. They left you the message, call back to Mr. So-and-so. Then you dial the phone. I'm out of the office until such and such a date, right? How do you feel in that interim? You understand? So if Krishna goes back to Vrindavan, it's like this. Goes back, right? And they think, because then they're thinking, I'll give you an example. In Gopal Champu, in very end, Krishna returns after killing Dantavakra. He goes to Braj. Daruka, his chariot driver, is there, and the chariot is there. So even though all the Brijabasis are completely happy, Krishna's looking at Daruka and the chariot. Why? Because he's presenting the anxiety. What does he need this guy for? Why is this chariot here? Is this temporary? Are you going back? So forth and so. Therefore, Krishna tells Daruka, go bring Rohini and Baladev and bring them here. Understand? Because he knew, he knew how much anxiety it was causing Brijabasis, and now he's back, but the chariot and his chariot driver from Dwarka are still on standby. Understand? Because they can't call Uber. Because he only rides with Daruka. That's Daruka's service. No chance to do anything else. So Daruka just was standing there, bank of Jamuna, with the chariot and everything. And they were in so much anxiety. For this reason, Gurudev also said he never goes back to Braj. Like that. But Jiva Goswami says after killing Dantavakra, he does. He crosses Yamuna, he goes back there. And at that time, Nitya Golok Dham manifests. Because the way it works is that the eternal Dham, Aprakat Dham, and Prakat Dham are layered on top of each other or intermingle like this. So sometimes Krishna is showing the eternal Dham, sometimes he's showing the temporary Dham here. This is one teaching that's there in Gopal Champur. For instance, the gopis who could not leave their homes because they didn't have association with Nityasita gopis as much. So when they tried to leave, their husband stopped them. So that verse is there, Dushaha ativra tapa virohe dushta shubha dhyana prapta chutta shlesha nivritta shina mangali paramatma eva jara buri api. So saddened that any last vestiges of dushta shubha, ashubha means inauspiciousness, was wiped away. And any auspiciousness. So what is the auspiciousness? I made it to Braj. I'm here now. I've arrived. I'm in a Gopi family. I'm hey Radhika, how you all doing? But you're not associated with, but hey, you see Krishna, everything, right? It's called Shub in this case, right? But I have a sense that this is my family, this is my husband, so forth, so on. But not in the paramour relationship with Krishna. I'm in Braj. I have all these things. Right? Beautiful children all around, everything. When they could not go to Ras when Krishna called, the pain they felt wiped away any auspiciousness and even the feelings of auspiciousness of having come to Braj. All were wiped away. And only one desire remained. What was that desire? To obtain the embrace of Krishna. So, Dhyana Prapta Tuta Shlesha. So, within their meditation in their hearts, they closed their eyes. Paramatma eva pi jara buri sangata. Even though they took darshan of Paramatma, they didn't see Paramatma. Who did they see? Krishna himself. Therefore it says, even though, api means even though, jara buri sangata. Jara buri means like an illicit lover. Sangha. They had that relationship by embracing Krishna within their hearts. Yoga Maya made duplicates of all the other gopis. Right? Because those gopis had association with Nityasita gopis. When it came time to go to Ras, Yoga Maya made duplicates of them. So the husbands never knew they were gone. But those gopis who didn't have association, Yoga Maya didn't make any duplicates for them. Therefore, they had to experience the pain of giving up. Therefore, what is it? Jaho Gunamahi Deham. Therefore, that Gunamahi Deha means that body which was still in. Jiva Goswami has written, they either obtained Ras on a later night because the Ras Leela were on for one night of Brahma, right? So if you didn't get to the party by 11, you could show up at 12 and things were still popping. All right? So it means they either obtained on that, or it says they obtained Ras in Nitya Golok Dham. Understand? It means they just experienced the Ras Leela as it's always going on in Nitya Golok Dham. So my point here was to show that the Nitya Dham and Prakat Dham, they are sometimes intertwined. Another evidence of this was that when Nanda Maharaj was swallowed by the serpent, then rescued by Krishna, all the cowherdsmen said, no. Okay, the thing with Kaliya, right? Then the forest fire thing, right? Then when he was only a baby, he killed that witch woman who came here. Then he lifted up the hill. Remember that? 7 days ago, he was standing there holding up a hill. Okay, something's up with this. This is not ordinary. Right? So Aishwarya start coming in mind. Right? So Nanda said, no, what is the big deal here? Right? Because before in Nandagan, they also came to him with the same thing. So now Nanda Maharaj, after hearing it all, he was saying, yeah, when you came before, I thought, no, you guys haven't even got your milk teeth yet. Gurudev tells the story. You guys are just thinking my little. When Krishna saw this coming over them, he put them like in a trance, and it says he took them and he showed them all the different levels, right, by their desire of all the different spiritual planes. He showed them Brahman, he showed this, he showed that. Then it says he also showed them Vrindavan, that very same Vrindavan which they eternally reside in, he showed it to them in this world. So he showed them Nitya Golok Dham, and he showed them the own village of Vrindavan that they were living in. Showed them how they were one and the same. Any other last questions? Lochan Das Thakur Mahamahotsav ki jai, Shri ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Any last?
Well, Sharmani was brought up about, let me see, did she include that?
Oh, we're looking up who Lochan Das
Yeah,
Thakur is.
no.
Did she find it?
No, she wanted to see if you could go.
Lochan Das Thakur in Krishna Lila. It should be, you can look under, there's one thing that says who's who in Gaur Lila. If you Google that. Also, it's the appearance there of Sri Shrimad Bhakti Surabha Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj. I don't know very much about him.
Yeah, they write a whole thing. It's right there.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a whole thing right there.
I got two things about Lochanda. One from BBNL and one from my.
You can go to Who's Who
Okay.
in Gaur Lila. It's actually a site that says Who's Who.
Click to read more, so it's a whole article.
Okay. So, Sri Srimad Bhakti Sirabha Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj in Vrindavan, India. Below is an excerpt from the glories of my beloved masters. Accepting the shelter of Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, Sri Srimad Bhakti Sirabha Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj appeared in the Kulina district of East Bengal, present-day Bangladesh, and was given the name Nanda Dulal. He studied engineering at Ravenswar College in Cuttack, where he came in contact with Sri Srimad Braj Bihari Das Babaji Maharaj, and in charge of the local mott established by Srila Prabhupada. Although Srila Babaji Maharaj was not well educated, he lectured daily on Chaitanya Charitamrita as per Srila Prabhupada's order. Because of his illiteracy, his manner of presenting discourses was not particularly scholarly. Nevertheless, illustrious academics and English he often told his listeners, I am but a peon of my Gurudev and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My delivery may be inadequate, but I have always put forth my best effort in making sure their message reaches your ears. Since you are learned, kindly correct whatever mistakes I have made. So not only was he simple, but he was so humble. High quality person, so simple and humble. Impressed by Srila Braj Bihari Babaji Maharaj's simplicity, Sri Nanda Dulal took full advantage of his daily association. Thus a strong desire arose within him to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. Through this pastime, Sri Nanda Dulal taught that the worldly knowledge of platform speakers can never infuse devotion in a person's heart. That was also spoken about our Srila Prabhupada. That there were many actual scholars of Bhagavad Gita, many Mayavadis also came in with Bhagavad Gita, but nobody became a devotee. Right? Bhagavad Gita, which was infused with actual bhakti, that people's hearts actually become changed. Although a well-spoken politician may expertly prepare a moving speech in less than half an hour, which most don't, most have people write speeches for them, the effect of this rhetoric is merely temporary. So, conversely, the incoherent speech of an entirely illiterate but surrendered devotee is so courageous that it inspires devotion in the hearts of those who hear it. This is one reason Gurudev, sometime if he was speaking to a mostly Hindi audience, he still didn't want devotees to leave. I remember once I was traveling with Gurudev, like in the early days, we went to the uncle of one devotee, Mukunda Prabhu. He was like a brahmachari, used to travel with Gurudev, and he had family who lived in Virginia Beach. So we went to their house because Gurudev promised for the whole family to fly to Washington to see Gurudev rather than Gurudev have to take the trip. But Gurudev said, no, because I promised I would visit their home. So Gurudev took that 2-3 hour ride in the car, in the van, we took a van, just to fulfill that promise to them, how sweet, compassionate Srila Gurudev was. It's just like also Srila Bhakti Bharti Goswami Maharaj. I remember there was this couple who lived here, and they wanted to take initiation, and they wanted to take initiation from a particular, well, one person already had Harinam, didn't have Diksha. The other person wanted Diksha, and they both wanted Diksha rather. So that person they wanted to take Diksha from had such a busy schedule, he couldn't make it, this, that, and then he finally did make it here, and even when he did make it here, and the person, went to him and said, hey, now that you're here, can we come see the Diksha? A disciple of that person wrote to him and said, oh, he's very busy on this trip, so he's only going to be seeing his disciples. It was amazing, right? So, on the other hand, Shamrani Devi was going to arrange for those two people to take initiation. She was going to, on one festival day was coming up, she would have Pujapad Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj by Skype, he would do it. But at the same time, Pujapad Siddhanti Maharaj was here. And he said, we should never wait on these things. So he talked to Shamrani Devi, he said, no, we should do it immediately. So he called that night, right, to Mukunda Prabhu, and Mukunda Prabhu communicated everything, or maybe he talked directly to Pujapad Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj. The next day, Maharaj took time out of his schedule for two people to come on, right, do the initiation, ask all questions, and answer everybody else in the room's questions. It's the only time I've ever got to speak to Maharaj. He asked me if I had any questions, so I asked my questions and so forth. So just think, for two people on the other side of the world, and for a pure devotee, what is your absorption, your daily bhajan like? But you took time for two people all the way over here on the recommendation of somebody. You know what I mean? So these are kind of things that are inconceivable. I hope I didn't just lock myself out of the phone.
Oh, no, it's just 2665.
And I'd like everybody on Neva also knows.
Okay, now what is the thing that she sent the email? Is it email?
No, it's just the whole,
No, I'm saying I can't find it now that the phone closed and I lost it.
oh, okay.
I should have kept my mouth quiet and just remembered.
That was great listening. Okay.
Yeah, just reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay.
And then you just click on that, and then the whole article.
An incoherent speech of entirely literate but surrendered soul is so courageous that it inspires devotion in the hearts of those who hear it, even though it may be devoid of any scriptural references. Of course, also, Gurudev one time mentioned that any vakya coming, no, actually Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj says this, sadhu vakya is sastra, because they're tulya, they're equivalent. So you can use sastra to support it. Actual Sadguru Vakya is also Sastra. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur, he didn't say, even though he's quoted the verse, Sadhu Sastra Guru, he's quoted a verse like that, but in his bhajan, he says, what is that verse? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittate Koryaikya. I'm praying that my consciousness may become one with my Guru's Vakya. He didn't add, and making sure it's correct with Sastra, etc. He just said, Guru's Vakya, for him, may I give my whole chitta, my whole consciousness to the Vakya of my Gurudev. Because he accepts my Guru's Vakya is not different from Sastra. Even though it may be devoid of any scriptural reference. It was with such surrendered devotees in mind that Srila Prabhupada wrote in his poem, as life can preach. I think it's going to start the whole thing over again.
So just scroll down then. Just like scroll down.
I hit that link. Okay, yeah, let me scroll down. Okay, it's loading up. Okay. I'll just go from here, actually. I'll skip some parts and just go to here. A frank reproach. Guru Maharaj regularly held religious assemblies in many places, including Kolkata, Puri, Vrindavan. On the invitation cards, he always included the names of his invited godbrothers, along with brief introductions. Once, one of Guru Maharaj's godbrothers became angry to see that Guru Maharaj had not included an introduction next to his name. He told some of his other godbrothers, "Why hasn't Madhav Maharaj included an introduction of me? He has introduced himself and his other godbrothers as the founder acharyas. of their respective institutions, but he has not mentioned any details about me. This is entirely improper. In reply, Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj, who was straightforward and without malice, said, "You have only recently acquired a small place and has but 2 rooms. You have not held any festival there, so Sripad Madhav Maharaj has no way of knowing where it is. Are you a sadhu? If so, then you must always remain humble. Does your disposition reflect the meaning of Trinadapi Suniche? The quality of your being humble?" And even though you are his junior, why then are you so angry? You cannot even imagine the depth to which Srila Hayagriva Brahmachari has entered the innermost region of Srila Prabhupada's heart. Right? There's also Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, his Brahmachari name was Hayagriva. Do not pay attention to all these trivialities, and thus cheat yourself of the essence, which is association with and service to sadhus. Wow. Whose service is most superior? Srila Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj told me he once posed a question to his godbrothers according to their respective capacities. Of the many sannyasis and brahmacharis of the mat are busily engaged in morning and night in various services. Srila Prabhupada's grihastas and vanaprasthi disciples also perform many different services. Do considerations of superiority and inferiority apply to the activities of service? If so, then which service is considered most exalted and whose service is topmost? After an extensive discussion, they could not reach a solid conclusion, and so they relayed the question to Srila Prabhupada via Srila Paramananda Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada answered with one sentence: the more love one has for Vaishnavas, the more exalted one's service is. Wow. In other words, there are no big and small services. Rather, it is the servant's mood that makes his service either first, second, or third class. All right, I'll read one more thing. There's a bunch of things here. I'm going to actually maybe look at this again at home. Well, actually, Maharaj said, "I have spoken many things, and you have all heard so much. Remain engaged in spiritual activities, thus you will go somewhere and one day obtain what you seek." Speaking in this much, he fell silent. After a few moments, he got up from his chair, and as he went to his room, he asked Sri Gurudev, and thus had just conveyed in only a few words. "I have spoken many things despite his advanced age. So the Guru Maharaj has tirelessly and repeatedly explained at great length and in a simple manner the scriptural truths pertaining to Bhajan Sadhan and the process to attain the lotus feet of Sri Hari. You have all heard so much here. Sri Guru Maharaj is saying day after day, morning, noon, and night, I have unfailingly spoken Harikatha, sometimes addressing easy subject matters and other times tackling than others. Because of your extensive hearing, your path towards the ultimate goal of life has been without difficulty. Remain engaged in spiritual activities. Now that you have understood many profound concepts concerning spiritual life, go forward and thus you will go somewhere if you can daily and attentively serve that. Worship the deities, behold them, study scriptures, perform kirtan, chant japa, and meditate under the guidance of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas. Then the day will surely come when you will attain your prime objective. You will one day obtain what you seek if you heed the previous 4 instructions. Then in his 5th stage, you will surely attain the rarely attained and eternally revered divinity of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. You will leave behind this temporary inferior earthly realm and search Sri Golok Vrindavan, where all abide in a perpetual blissful spring. Then your life will be a success. You will be happy, peaceful, immortal, forever liberated, eternally full of sweetness and laughter. This is very nice. This is the same.
What is it?
Jai Srila Bhakti Sura Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Was he a disciple of Srila Prabhupada? Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj?
Sounds like he was a disciple of, yeah, sounds like it.
But he was junior to Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj.
Must be.
Okay.
Many disciples of Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, so many. Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara, Guru Parampara. Guru Ki Jai. Shila Bhakti Swarapa Bhakti Sar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.